Good evening, everyone. Welcome, 6 p.m. London time. We are at our startup pitch show where startup founders present their pitch presentations in front of the judges. So we will have amazing startup presentations from Amara Martins, the startup founder from Portugal today. Before we start, I would like to introduce our invited judges to give the feedback and also to help founders to improve the pitch presentation. So first of all, I would like to invite the Marco Poliafico. Marco, if you can join us and give introduction about yourself. How do you work with startups? Marco, good evening.
Good evening, Slava, to you and to the all audience connected today. I work with you and with other accelerators, focusing mainly on three areas and supporting as an advisor and mentor startups around the globe. And the three areas are strategy, business models, and pitch coaching. And that is very relevant to what we are going to do today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you. Please stay with us because we will start our pitch presentation very shortly. Now, I would like to invite Inês from Portugal. Inês, please, if you can join our conversation. And good evening. If you can introduce yourself, tell us a few words about how do you work with startups.
Hi, thank you for the invitation. So we have a business, an entrepreneurship school in Porto, that's Egg Academy. And we help entrepreneurs with their mindset, their business strategy, and their communication and sales.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we will start our presentation shortly. And now I also would like to invite our thought judge, Matt Black from London. Matt, good evening. If you can also tell a few words about yourself before we start.
Hi, so I'm a serial entrepreneur, and when I'm usually working with startups, founders, it's usually on fundraising and also understanding how their model works, go to market, value propositions, that kind of stuff. I work on the kind of building blocks of the business and getting them right so that fundraising is really easy.
Thank you very much, Matt. So we are ready to start. Now I would like to introduce and invite our founder who will be pitching tonight. So Amara, if you're with us, please welcome. If you can also introduce yourself, tell us a few words, and please be ready for your presentation.
Hello, good afternoon. And first of all, thank you so much for your invitation. Well, we started Hephaesnus at the middle of the pandemic, 2020. And it's been a long journey, but we're just a short way from launching our products within the first quarter of 2024. So this will be exciting times for us too.
Please, if you can share your presentation and start.
Yeah, sure thing. Just give me 1 second if you allow me.
Sure.
You should be able to see it now, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. You can start.
All right. Thank you so much. So I'll start then. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Amara Martins, and I'm the CEO of Hephaesnus. Hephaesnus is currently dedicated to fighting forest fires in a safer, more efficient, and sustainable manner. In the last 5 years alone, there were over 90,000 forest fires in Portugal. These have caused hundreds of casualties, thousands of injured, and hundreds of millions of euros lost in economical value. At Hephaesnus, we have a mission to save people, territory, assets, and the environment. But how does our solution work, and how do we mean to fight forest fires? We are currently developing and hopefully launching our solution within the first quarter of 2024 using fire extinguishing projectiles. These innovative fire extinguishing projectiles can be used via airdrops, using aerial means or drones, or they can be used by also using our innovative product, our propelling device, which is easily attachable to any forest firefighting equipment to launch our projectiles. As you can see here, the propelling device is easily attachable and it can launch our projectiles, which will then hit an area affected by a forest fire, and then it will extinguish the fire. The characteristics of our projectiles are essentially they have an efficient extinguishing load inside of them, which is also produced and created by us. They have optimized aerodynamics. They are adaptable to each circumstance according to the client's needs. They have a tech-led mechanism for efficient extinguishing, and corresponding to the circular economy, all of our projectiles are manufactured with industrial byproducts. Regarding our business model, we've currently divided our clients into two segments, institutional and private. On the institutional side, we have all state agencies in Portugal and Spain, and on the private side, we have large farmland owners, helicopter and aerial means companies, large industries in rural areas, and drone companies. We estimate the value of our market in Portugal and Spain to be at least 850 million euros. The sources of revenue, we sell products and provide services. On the product side, we sell our device and projectiles, and on the services side, we provide maintenance and training services. We are forecasting at 4 million euros in sales in 2024 alone. Regarding our roadmap, as I've said, right now we are conducting controlled tests with our prototypes and with the drone company, and we are aiming to launch our solution by the first quarter of 2024. Some of our partners here, I'd like to highlight the biggest one of them, which is Portugal Ventures, which is also a public entity and which has already invested in the company. Regarding our team, we have a very young, multicultural team, but which is very dedicated to fighting forest fires. And we have a production team, which is highly experienced and has many years of experience in manufacturing devices. Last but not least, I'd like to ask you to join us in improving the fight against forest fires. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amara. That was precise, but equally it was very kind of the straightforward. Now is the time to our judges to give the feedback and scores. Marka, if you can join us first and give you a feedback.
Sure. Amara, thanks very much for this presentation, and really well done. I really enjoyed, I have to say. And of course, I'm all for sustainability, so I really love this type of products and services. When I give feedback, I typically like to mention something good, so something that I think is a good example, a good practice when we present, and also something to work on, maybe that we can improve. I think among the things that I saw many things that I liked, I have to say, but just to mention at least two. The first one that I would like to mention is that you show how it works. There was the picture there. And of course, when we give a presentation, the more we can present a concrete example, an MVP, if possible, maybe this is not your case, or demonstrate how the product works, that is always good. It helps our presentation. In your case, if I understood correctly, you're not there yet with the MVP. So at least you gave a visual representation of what should be basically, and you didn't get into many complex details, which is good for an engineering company. I found it very positive side. And another thing that I like that I would like to mention as a good practice when we run a presentation is the roadmap. Now, this is not a typical slide. Some other colleagues might prefer not to show, but if we want to show traction, if you want to share where we are at and how we want to grow, why not? It's good to say, hey, this is where we are, this is the progress. And I would say, don't be afraid to say, hey, we made mistakes and we learned out of it. Because investors, they love the fact that you learned. So investors know, we all know, nobody's perfect. So if we can show that actually we are learning through the mistakes that we made, through the pivoting or through the journey, basically, that is even better. And if we add value to the roadmap. And that is the first comment that I wanted to give you. So how the slides can be even improved is to share how where is the value, how you increase the value of your company, which goes beyond merely sharing a Gantt chart of dates in product finished, but rather, hey, what did we learn? How this journey brought us in this situation, and what now we plan to do in the next steps. It's a learning journey, learning roadmap, as opposite to just the product roadmap, which is good on itself by any means. Don't get me wrong. And I think that another thing maybe I feel whenever there is this presentation of few minutes, and I say I feel because I know that you want to cram into it a lot of stuff, but remember to focus, and by any means you did, but it's important to think about the audience. So who is the audience? Are they investors? So I will focus maybe more details on the revenue streams, which by the way you mentioned, or maybe the business model. How does it work? And the competition to understand what is the scalability of your product, which I don't think I've seen in your presentation. I hope I'm not wrong. So does it make sense? Depending on the audience, you might think about focusing more on the market side of your innovation and your journey. Hope it makes sense, but well done. I really loved your presentation. Great work indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. So now it's time to give scores. The first score goes for innovativeness of idea, please, from 0 to 10.
Let's say so. There are many business models that I see around that start using this technology, but I think it's a good way to think outside the box compared to a sector which has been stagnating. I think the fighting fires. So let's give a 7 to be balanced between the fact that okay, I see some innovation and definitely some more innovation might come from the business model, which you gave a hint of training and services. So 7.
Thank you, Marco. Second score goes for the presentation.
As I said before, I really liked your effort to reduce the complexity and talk to people who are not specifically into that sector. So I would definitely reward that effort with a 8. And if you manage to apply the less is more, meaning going a bit slower when you talk, it might go easily towards 9. But let's stick to 8.
Thank you, Marco. And the final score goes for business model innovative scalability potential.
I don't feel you gave enough information about this, but that was a legitimate choice with 3 minutes for the presentation. So I will stop at well, actually, I'm not. Let's see, between 7 and 8. I want to give 8. Come on, to be positive, because I'm sure there is a lot of scalability. It's a matter of conveying this in a even stronger way. You talked about, for example, Spanish and Portuguese market, if I were remembering a slide, but absolutely, nowadays we are global. So I will give you an 8, but it's to encourage you to promote better the scalability of your company.
Thank you very much, Marco, for your feedback and also scores. Now it's a time to ask Inês to join our conversation and also give the feedback to Amara, please.
Hi, Amara. So I really enjoyed your presentation. It was up to the point. That's very good. And without the technical jerk, that's also very good. What I missed was to know a bit more about you as the founder. So why are you the right person to be running this project? What are your motivations and things like that? And also the real impact of the product, like comparing to the traditional methods, how will your projectiles work and how fast can the fire be tamed, or how much less fire workers would be in the field. I would like to see more about the impact so I could measure the potential of your project. I think you can add some of it to your presentation in the future. And I think that about the scalability of the project, it has potential, especially because you have a very few little costs on the projectiles. So probably you will be able to do it in a massive scale once you get to the market. And with all the other things that you already have, like teaching and stuff, it will be okay. And I think that's it for now.
Thank you, Inês. And please, if you can give us scores. The first score goes for innovativeness of idea.
I would give an 8 because I think probably not the only one in the market doing that, but it's still not being used. So I think an 8, it's good.
Thank you. Second score goes to presentation.
Presentation, it's like Marco said, it's for an engineering company, it was very uncomplicated, and that's very, very good. So 8 as well.
Thank you. And the final score goes to business model and scalability potential.
Yeah, for now, I would give just a 7.
7 goes for business model and scalability potential from Inês. Inês, thank you so much for your feedback and your scores to Amara tonight. And now I would like to invite the Matt Black. Matt, if you can join our conversation and also give us your feedback, please, Matt.
So a quick question, what did you intend to get out of today? Was it a pitch for awareness, or are you looking for investment?
I'm not looking for any investments at this point. I was already invested. The company was already invested.
So why are you pitching?
Awareness, mostly.
Interesting. Okay. I don't think there's anybody buying forest fighting equipment on this call, but that's an interesting perspective. Okay, so I thought it was an interesting pitch. I thought it was nicely done. I would have liked a little bit more technical stuff. I know simplicity is great, but I in fact, if this is pitching for people to potentially buy this or potentially to engage with you in government, then those questions that people like Inês or Marcos said were really, really relevant. What's the market fit? Exactly how much a difference between what exists at the moment and what you're creating? Inês said that there's, we want to know the gap. We want to know the journey that you're taking on people on. It's great if you're doing this great thing. It's really different as far as I've seen, because I don't know the market, so I've never seen it before. But if it's solving this extremely minor problem and not really making much impact, what's the point of doing it at all? So that's really important to highlight. And so I won't understate what Inês said about that. You also have multiple delivery systems. You said you engage drones, but clearly a giant tube system, presumably air shot cannon system, is not going to go on a drone because it weighs 500 times what a drone weighs. So you clearly have another delivery system there, which is presumably dropping the things. Yeah. Okay. So, you didn't state what your product really does. You got halfway through promoting what your product does. So something to think about. Also, scalability. You mentioned the Portugal market. Is that the only market you're targeting at the moment?
No, I've actually mentioned Portugal and Spain.
Okay,
those are
so
two first targetable markets.
What about the rest of the planet? Because I tell you what, forest fires are only getting worse with global warming.
Yeah.
So it's almost selfish to not say that you're wanting to expand into other countries and give other people access to technology that's going to save lives, or save property, save assets, and reduce carbon loss. So this is something that you should think maybe a bit bolder about. Maybe revising your model. The air delivery system modules at £8 a pop. Tell you what, spend £1,000, do a marketing program, and reach 1,000 drone companies all around the world and quadruple your expectations of sales. How about that strategy? So, I shouldn't need to spell this kind of stuff out to someone that, you seem to have great advisors on. Maybe you need better advisors. So this is a really great plan and a really interesting product that I think can make a really big impact on the world. I'm trusting you to take away knowledge from you get today and do it better, do it bigger, because the world needs great ideas like this to be implemented properly. So my scores for innovation are 6. Just because I don't know how innovative it is. I think you could be even better about it. And the innovation isn't as much for the product innovation, but innovation overall about how you're applying the technology. The second one on presentation, I think a 6, because you missed out on key points. And this environment is not necessarily the environment that's going to get you any traction with your idea. And finally, business scalability, I give it a 9. I think that if you start to recompartment the ammunition, so to speak, at £8 a pop, and really start to push that out and de-emphasize the larger projectile systems, I think you'll have a lot more reach with other companies, and maybe even develop these much larger payload systems for airplanes. I think that would be a much bigger impact, because we're talking remote working, more dangerous environments, really high temperature fires like the likes we saw in California recently. I think you can make a huge impact. I'd just like to see you take it up a notch.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Matt. And I would like to ask Amara if you have any comments to your judges back, anything you want to add to your pitch?
Well, I would have, but I think I would waste a lot of time, and maybe we'd be making a second pitch. I'll just leave a couple of notes regarding scalability. Obviously, we intend to scale to other countries on a global level, but so far we can only, when we are only thinking about Portugal and Spain on the first 2 to 3 years, because we don't have ability or industrial ability to go global. So if we don't have industrial capacity to produce over more than 100,000 projectiles, we cannot sell global. So if we cannot fulfill clients' orders, we might as well just say we don't sell to them yet. But yeah, we're definitely looking towards them. As I've said, we just recently invested by a state fund. So indirectly, the Portuguese state is also both a client and an investor. So you can see how it's linked. And overall, I would like to thank you all for the advice regarding the presentation. I tried to condense a bit of everything within 3 minutes, because I know you all very demanding. But I know it's sometimes it's very hard to mingle everything in just 3 minutes. It was a hard task, but I can fully understand your concerns. And depending on the audience, I definitely agree with Matt. If I knew there was an engineer on the panel, I would have made it slightly more technical, because we already have the technical data, and I could have told you we can extinguish, for example, with 2 kilos of mass on a projectile, we can extinguish 6 square meters of flames, and amongst other data that we already have available. But I didn't want to bother too much, because I thought it'd be just a general panel. But I fully understand the feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Amara. Thank you very much, our judges. That was the pitch presentation by Amara Martins, and also our amazing startup pitch judges tonight. Join us for this session. We will see all of you next week, 6 p.m. London time. So please stay tuned, and welcome to watch our upcoming startup pitch presentations next week. I'm closing the live broadcast session tonight, and thank you very much one more time, everyone, for your amazing contributions, and all our viewers who've been with us tonight. Thank you.